Let me ask you something. What if the most convenient tool your board uses is also its greatest threat? Yeah, I'm talking about those everyday messaging apps. The ones where billion-dollar decisions get thrown around, where deals are approved with a thumbs-up emoji, and where one careless forward can bring an entire company to its knees.
Look, we've all done it. You're in a hurry, you shoot off a quick message, you share a file in a group chat. It feels so efficient, right? But here's the thing. When it comes to corporate governance, that convenience is a ticking time bomb. The casual, friendly nature of these apps completely masks the massive legal and financial dangers that are lurking just beneath the surface.
It sounds like something out of a movie, doesn't it? A bit dramatic, but it is a devastating and very real possibility. This isn't some hypothetical question I'm posing. It is the central, painful lesson from a real-world corporate disaster that all started with one simple, seemingly innocent action inside a WhatsApp group.
To really understand the stakes here, we have to look at what happens when this kind of WhatsApp governance goes horribly wrong. So let's dive into the story of how a single screenshot ignited an absolute corporate firestorm.
Okay, so picture this. A huge deal is on the table for this family company. We're talking about the culmination of months, maybe even years of hard work and negotiation. This is a legacy-defining transaction, 1.2 billion reals. The pressure is on, everyone's trying to move fast, and communication is flying back and forth.
And this is where it all goes wrong. The financial director shares a draft of the due diligence report, the document that lays bare all the company's secrets, good and bad, in the project's WhatsApp group. And deep inside that report was a sensitive note about some outstanding tax issues, a totally normal step in a deal. But it was done in a completely unsecured, informal environment. And see how easily this happens? A board member, probably just trying to be helpful, forwards this highly confidential file to a few friends to get a quick second opinion. But one of those friends, who has zero loyalty to the company, just takes a screenshot of that sensitive tax section and sends it straight to a local competitor. Just like that.
So what was the immediate result of that one leak? The company got slapped with what's known as a governance discount. The perception of risk, the idea that they couldn't control their own information, was so high that they were forced to accept a staggering 25% loss in their valuation. That's a 300 million real mistake, gone in an instant.
And believe me, the damage didn't stop with the discount. The foreign investor walked away. Not because of the tax issue itself, but because they lost all trust in the company's ability to keep a secret. The company's value absolutely tanked, and worse, the family turned on itself, spending the next 2 years in court fighting over who was to blame. It was a complete and utter catastrophe.
Now that story isn't just an unlucky accident. It's a textbook example of a systemic risk that, frankly, many boards are completely blind to. So let's pull back from the story and dissect the actual legal framework that makes these platforms so incredibly dangerous.
You see, in legal terms, this isn't just an oops moment. There's a name for it: digital negligence. When a board member uses a consumer app that they know is insecure to handle sensitive corporate data, they are actively failing in their legal duty to protect the company. It is a fundamental breach of their responsibilities.
This chart breaks it down perfectly. You approve a board resolution with a thumbs-up emoji? Guess what? That resolution can be declared legally void because there's no official, unchangeable record. You share financial statements that then get backed up to someone's personal, unencrypted cloud. You've just created a perfect opportunity for insider trading, and those family disputes being argued over in a group chat, that is a ticking time bomb for a public scandal or, even worse, extortion.
And this is the part that everyone really needs to hear. This liability isn't just on the company, it's personal. Regulations like Article 29 of the company's law give directors a duty of care. If you breach that duty through digital negligence, your personal assets, your home, your bank accounts are on the line. The company cannot shield you from the consequences of your own personal negligence. It's that serious.
So, if the risks are so incredibly high, why on earth does this keep happening? Well, the answer has less to do with technology and a lot more to do with human psychology. It's about a phenomenon known as the shadow board.
The shadow board is that unofficial group chat where the real power is. It's where the key players hash things out, make their deals, and come to a consensus before the official meeting even begins. The formal board meeting then just becomes a piece of theater to rubber stamp decisions that were already made in private on an app. It's a breeding ground for groupthink.
I mean, just look at the difference here. A real board meeting is structured, it's secure, and it's designed for critical thinking.
A WhatsApp group? It's chaotic, vulnerable, and it fosters that instant approval culture where everyone just rushes to send a thumbs up so they don't look like they're the ones slowing things down. It completely kills any chance for real, thoughtful debate.
Okay, so we've seen the problem, we've seen the psychology behind it, but the good news is there is a solution. It's about moving from these informal, vulnerable channels to what's called a sovereign governance platform. Basically, you create a self-contained, legally defensible ecosystem for your board, a purpose-built digital fortress.
So, what's the first line of defense in this fortress? Control. Imagine a board member resigns angrily or just loses their phone at the airport. With a feature like Remote Wipe, your administrator can instantly delete every sensitive board document from that device with a single click. It means a departing member can never hold your company's data hostage. Now this is a powerful deterrent. Every single document a board member looks at is invisibly layered with a dynamic watermark that shows their name and the exact time they're viewing it. If they take a screenshot and it gets leaked, well, there's no mystery. The source of that leak is identified with 100% certainty. The anonymity that makes leaking so easy is just gone.
And this feature gets rid of what lawyers call plausible deniability. The system creates an unchangeable, legally binding record of every single action. Who opened the financial report? When did they open it? How long did they look at it? In a legal dispute, you now have undeniable proof that a director did their job and reviewed the materials before voting. It protects everyone.
Moving to a secure system might seem like a huge, daunting project. But it's not just about installing new software, it's about a cultural shift. And it can be done methodically. Here is a clear 90-day plan to get your board from a state of chaos to a state of complete control and security.
You can break it down into 3 simple 30-day phases. First is containment. You archive all the old WhatsApp data and then you delete all those informal groups. Clean slate. Next is isolation. All board work now happens only on dedicated secure devices like tablets. And finally, and this is the most critical step, the financial lockout. You literally integrate the platform with your company's financial system, making it impossible to process major payments without a secure, digitally signed resolution from the official platform. It hardwires compliance right into your operations. And to make this whole thing stick, it has to be cemented with a clear, binding board resolution. This one line is the key. It officially states that any instruction, any approval, any directive given over a text or a phone call has zero legal or financial effect. For all intents and purposes, it is considered to have never happened. And really, that brings us to the final question you have to ask yourself. When you look at the decades of work, the value you've created, the future you're trying to build, is all of that resting on a secure, defensible, professional foundation? Or is it all just one screenshot away from disaster, built on the shifting sands of disappearing chats?